So, good morning, everybody. Today's class is on panel data econometrics, and this is the last part for semester 2 syllabus. In panel data econometrics, it is a vast area in econometric theory, but for you, uh, we discuss only the basic concepts of panel data and the basic methods that could be used if you have a panel data for empirical research. So this is the subject matter for next 2 or 3 days class. Yes. So econometrics of panel data. And this is the brief sketch of the syllabus to be covered for semester 2. The first topic, basic concepts of panel data. Then we move into advantages of panel data, basic structure of panel data. Then we finish with some discussions on static panel data econometric model. And here we have to take care of mainly the three models. One is pooled regression, second one fixed effect model, and third one is the random effect model. So this is the syllabus for semester 2 for this year. And as you know, because of the given constant, because of pandemic, during the current phase we have faced, we are unable to take care of you directly in the class. So we are trying as possible to convey the basic concepts of panel data that you can utilize later on for your preliminary research, for your job places, or in getting a job, and of course to complete your semester. And the basic reference for this part, you can note down the basic text on panel data. It is a very famous book, Baltagi, Buddy H. Baltagi. The title of the book, Econometric Analysis of Panel Data. This book, the entire book deals with the panel data econometrics. So this is specially for panel data. The second one you are familiar with, William Green, Econometric Analysis, the book for general econometrics. And there are some chapters on panel data in this book, so you can also go through. Third one you can go through, Econometrics in Theory and Practice, Analysis of Cross-Section, Time Series and Panel Data with Stata 15.1, written by me. All these books are available in our library. So when reopen the department, reopen the university after the end of the lockdown, so you can go through the hard copies of these books, or alternately you can also try online. You may have the e-version of these books, so you can collect the e-versions if possible, or after reopening the department, reopening the university, you can visit our library and you can collect those books. You need to take care of the selective parts of the books, not the entire books, because this book is entirely on the panel data econometrics and detailed analysis is there. So you do not need the whole parts of the book. You need 1 or 2 chapters hardly. Similarly, for the Green's book, you can go through only chapters relating to panel data. And for Mai's book, you can go through chapter 15. There are 4 chapters on panel data in this book. So for your syllabus, chapter 15 is sufficient. And in this book, you can simultaneously look at some illustrations with data, official data with Stata software, and that may be helpful for your practical class. So for practical purposes also you can go through these books. So these are about the basic references. Now let us start with the basic concepts of panel data. And panel data is perhaps something new for you. You have not gone through this kind of data beforehand. So let us start with what do we mean by panel data? What is the basic structure of panel data? How panel data looks like? What are the basic advantages of panel data? So for today's class, we concentrate mainly on these 3 topics. First one, the basic concepts of panel data. How do we get panel data? Second one, what are the benefits of using panel data as compared to cross-section and time series? And third part is the basic structure of panel data, how a panel data looks like, and how we can utilize the variations in the data if you have in panel form. So we can define panel data in this way. You are familiar with the data collected through survey, cross-section data, because your econometrics training was started with the cross-section data in semester 1 and also in your undergraduate courses. So the models you are familiar with in semester 1 as well as your undergraduate courses, most of them are related to the cross-section data. And cross-section data, you know, are collected across the cross-section units at a given time point. Okay. So this is the survey in popular sense. Now, if we repeat the survey with same set of cross-section for same information over the time period, we have a panel data. So to understand panel data, you have to keep in mind 3 keywords. One keyword is we have to repeat the survey with same set of cross-section units. So this is more important, same set of cross-section units. So survey to be repeated with the same set of cross-section units, not only same set of cross-section units, also on the same kind of information, okay, at different time points. So suppose today we are conducting a survey on household consumer expenditure or some issues on employment and unemployment, because these kind of survey data are more familiar for you for different purposes. And you know, NSSO in our country conducted a survey on several rounds on the household consumer expenditure as well as employment and unemployment. For that reason, I am referring to these kind of survey data. So let me concentrate on survey on household consumer expenditure. So on household consumer expenditure, suppose we are interested some measured informations we need to analyze. For example, aggregate consumption expenditure, then the activity status of the households, etc. So if we want to collect aggregate consumption expenditure, and different components of expenditure from different households taken in a sample. So this is the survey we are conducting for today or for this year. And if we repeat the survey for the next year with the same set of households for collecting the same type of informations, and in this way, if we continue this survey for several time points with the same set of households, for example, for collecting same type of information for several time points, we have a data set that is called a panel data. So panel data is basically a mix of cross-section and time series. Okay, you are familiar with cross-section data, you are familiar with time series data. So if we mix them both, we get a structure what is called the panel data. So in a panel data, or sometimes panel data are called the longitudinal data. So panel data consists of repeated observations on the same issues across the same set of cross-section units over time. For example, we are interested on aggregate consumption expenditure. So we are collecting aggregate consumption expenditure, suppose from a set of 500 households. So we are selecting 500 households in a sample. We are conducting a survey for collecting consumption expenditure from 500 households for this year. And we are repeating the same survey for the next year with the same 500 households to collect information on the same type, that is on aggregate consumption expenditure or different components of consumption expenditure. So if we repeat this process, we have a data set what is called the panel data. Okay, so in a panel data, we have repeated observation on consumption expenditure, for example, for different years of a particular household. In that sense, we have a repeated observations on some informations over time periods. Okay. Now, in defining panel data, I have already mentioned we have to keep in mind three keywords at least. One keywords, we need the same set of cross-section units in different survey. We do not change, or we cannot change the set of cross-section units for different surveys to form a panel data. So for a panel data, strictly we need the same set of cross-section units. For example, if we select a particular set of 500 cross-section units, 500 households for this year, we have to keep the same household sets for the different survey rounds at different time points to construct a panel data. But if you have different set of sample units at different time points, but you are collecting the same information set, this data set will not called the panel. So for panel, the first condition is the cross-section unit should be the same for all time period. Second point is, for the panel data, we need same information. Suppose you have a same cross-section unit, same set of households for different years, but in this year, suppose you are collecting information on consumption expenditure. For the next year, you want to collect information on other issues like wage structure. In the next year, you want to collect in another issue like different types of employment status like this. So although in these three rounds, cross-section units are the same, but the information set are different. So you cannot collate them together to form a panel. So for a panel data, you need a same cross-section unit for the same information, and you have to repeat the survey over several time periods. So in this way, we can get a panel data. But at this point, we have to keep in mind the basic difference between panel data and another kind of popular data set we frequently used in empirical research, that is called the pooled cross-section data. What is pooled cross-section data? Pooled cross-section data means, suppose we have two set of survey data on the similar issue. For example, we are considering NSSO data on household consumer expenditure. And suppose we are considering two rounds of household consumption expenditure, one for the 68th round, household consumption expenditure for the year 2011-12, and till now this is the latest round, because after that the data on household consumption expenditure are not in public domain till now. So the latest household consumption expenditure conducted by the NSSO is 68th round for 2011-12. Suppose this is one set of data on consumption expenditure, and consider another set of data on the same issue, that is consumption expenditure, for another round. So 68th round for 2011-12. So if you take another round, for example, 61st round data for 2004-5. So you have 61st round data on household consumer expenditure and 68th round data on household consumer expenditure. So in these two set of survey data, the information set are similar, but the cross-section units are different. For that reason, we cannot construct panel by using the NSSO survey data. In the NSSO survey data, you know, and many of you may be familiar with this kind of data. So the cross-section unit, the household set are different in different round in different years. So although the information sets are similar, roughly similar, but the household sets, the cross-section units are different at different time point. For that reason, we cannot construct a panel data with this kind of survey information, but we can compile them. We can combine them, because as we have the same set of information. So if you are familiar with the terminology of append in Stata, so you can append the two survey data, one for 2011-12, another for 2004-5, for example. So if we combine these two sets of data, so you can construct what is called the pooled cross-section, because here we are pooling two independent cross-section data. That's why this kind of data is called pooled cross-section. So the basic difference is in pooled cross-section and in panel data is that in pooled cross-section, the sample units are different. The cross-section units are different at different time points. But in panel data, the cross-section units will be the same at different time points. Okay. So in analyzing panel data or in going through in detail further in panel data, we have to keep in mind panel data has been generated by taking a specific set of cross-section units on a specific set of information over time. Okay. Now we have different types of panel data. How we can differentiate between panel data of different types? In a panel data, you have two dimensions. One dimension across the cross-section unit, so your information varies across the cross-section unit. And second dimension is the time. Your information varies over time. Consider hypothetically, we have 500 households. We have selected 500 households in a sample, and we are collecting information on aggregate consumption expenditure. So when we conducting a survey for a particular year, we have 500 observations on consumption expenditure for 500 households. So at a particular time point, you have a data, what is called the cross-section data. So if you take the cross-section dimensions only, you have a variation of household consumer expenditure only across the households. And if we repeat the survey, you have similar kind of information for different years. So in a panel data, the variable aggregate consumption expenditure varies across the households or across the cross-section units. Similarly, over time, because we are repeating the survey over time. So you get the information on on household consumer expenditure for the given set of households for different years. So consumer expenditure varies over time, consumer expenditure varies across the cross-section unit, for example, household. So there are two dimensions of variation in a panel data. So one important dimension is the cross-section unit. So how do we select the cross-section unit? Obviously, that depends on our objective, what we are wanting to do, what is our basic objective in our empirical research like this. So in that sense, the cross-section units, I have already referred, households. So households, households could be treated as a micro unit. So in a survey, you can conducting a survey by taking a set of households. You can conducting a survey by taking a set of farms, producing unit. So if your cross-section units are micro units like households, like farms, then the panel data you can construct is called the micro panel. Similarly, we can collect data by considering the macro units. Suppose we have a set of countries and we are collecting data on GDP for different countries over different time periods. So in that case, the cross-section unit is a country. So if your cross-section unit is a macro, then the panel data will be a macro panel. So on the basis of the nature of the cross-section units, we have two types of panel data. One is called the micro panel, another one is called the macro panel. So the basic difference between micro panel and macro panel, in micro panel, the cross-section units are micro units. The cross-section units are households, the farms, or like this. And obviously, if you have a micro units, the number of cross-section units will be larger than the number of time points. So if you want to construct a micro panel data where cross-section units are the micro units, you can consider a large number of micro units in your survey. But if you want to construct a panel data with macro units, so obviously the macro units will not be so large as for the micro units. Take for example, micro units households. So if you want to conducting a survey, household consumer expenditure, you can take lakhs or more than lakhs of households in your sample as used in NSSO survey. But if number of countries are taken as a cross-section unit, so number of countries obviously will not be 1 lakh or more than 1 lakh like this. So number of countries is limited to a fixed number, but the number of households may be so large. So in a micro panel where the cross-section units are the micro units, the cross-section dimension or the number of households, number of farms, or number of cross-section units would be sufficiently large. And if you consider micro units as a cross-section units in your data set, it is not possible to continue this kind of survey for a longer period of time. The problem involved in conducting a micro survey for a longer period of time, you can understand the basic problem may be relating to the location of the survey unit, location of the micro unit. If household is your cross-section unit in your data set, so one problem may arise relating to the location of the particular household. For example, household number 1 you are selecting for today, that household may change its place, that household may migrate for several reasons from one place to another. So after some times you cannot locate that households properly. So for that reason, it is highly difficult to continue the survey by taking the same set of households for a longer time periods. For that reason, in a micro panel, the time dimension is normally less than the cross-section dimension. So if you have cross-section dimension 500, if in your sample you are considering 500 households, so number of time points should be less than 500, sufficiently less than 500, because you cannot continue survey for 500 years. For obvious reason, you can easily understand. So you can continue your survey with 500 households roughly for 10 years, 15 years, hardly 20 years. So time dimension is 20 years, cross-section dimension 500 years. So in this way, in a micro panel, cross-section dimension is sufficiently large than the time dimension. For that reason, the micro panel data, sometimes called, are the cross-section panel or short panel. This is because as in a micro panel, the cross-section units is large as compared to time. So in this kind of data, the basic behaviors mostly dominated by the cross-section units. For that reason, the panel data obtained with the micro units as a cross-sections are called the cross-section panel or short panel. Why short panel? Because here the time dimension is sufficiently less than the number of cross-section units. That's why it is called the short panel. So micro panel, in a micro panel, number of cross-section units are the micro units. In a micro panel, the dimension of cross-section is sufficiently large than the dimension of time. And for that reason, in a micro panel, the cross-section properties will be dominating. That's why the micro panel data is sometimes called the cross-section panel data or the short panel data, because in micro panel, in cross-section panel, the time dimension is relatively short. On the other hand, macro panel, if your cross-section units are macro units, then you get a panel what is called the macro panel. For example, we have referred to countries in the globe as a cross-section units. So if you are collecting data on GDP and components of GDP, for example, from different countries, over time, you have a panel what is called the macro panel. In a macro panel, it is quite easy to understand the cross-section dimension is limited, because the number of cross-section units, the number of countries is limited to 100 or 150 or 200 like this, or even less. And you can continue this survey for several years, 100 years, 200 years, even 300 years if you want. So it is not possible for a particular person, but you can continue this kind of survey over the generations, because there are basic difference between macro and micro cross-section units as far as the data collection are concerned. When you are conducting survey with micro units, you are collecting data directly from the household, just asking some questions. You are collecting data directly from the producing unit farm by asking some questions. So in a micro units, in a micro survey, micro level survey, we are collecting data directly from the respondents. But if we are conducting a survey with macro units, so macro data could not be collected directly from the respondents, because you know macro unit cannot respond directly to you. Micro unit can respond, a household can respond, a head of the household can respond to you directly and provide you some information directly. Similarly, a producing unit, an entrepreneur of a farm, can respond to your question and provide you some information. But if you want to collect data from the macro unit cannot interact with you. For example, macro unit country, a country cannot interact with you. India as a country cannot interact with you. USA cannot interact with you. So how do we collect macro data? Macro data could be collected from the secondary source, not from the primary source. So in a micro panel, we have data from the primary source. In a macro panel, we have data from the secondary source. We can collect macro data, we can collect GDP data or components of GDP data from official statistics from the different countries. We have official statistics in our country, and you know, CSO, Central Statistics Office, and its National Accounts Division actually prepare national account statistics in India. So you can collect GDP and different components of GDP from the CSO websites. Similarly, you can collect GDP and different components of GDP from different countries from their official websites. So you have to collect data from the official websites or from the secondary sources. So this is the basic difference between the nature of the data in micro panel and macro panel. So in a micro panel, you have got data from the primary sources, but in a macro panel, you have got data from the secondary sources, from the official source. So this is one important difference between micro panel and macro panel. And in a macro panel, as the cross-section units are the macro units, the country. So in that case, the number of cross-section units should be less than the number of time points. So in a macro panel, we have a longer time series data for a specific number of cross-section units. For that reason, macro panel sometimes called the time series panel, because in a macro panel, the time series properties will be dominating, because you can construct a longer series data for a specific set of cross-section units, for example, time. Okay. Macro panel sometimes called a long panel because you have information for the longer period. So in this way, we have a macro panel data. So there are two types of panel data based on the nature of the cross-section units. One is a micro panel, another one is a macro panel. In the micro panel, the cross-section units are the micro units like households, farms, etc. So in a micro panel, the dimension of cross-section is sufficiently large than the dimension of time period. And obviously in a micro panel, the cross-section properties will be dominating. That's why micro panel sometimes called the cross-section panel or short panel. In the macro panel, on the other hand, the cross-section units are the macro units like countries or the regions, whatever may be. And in macro panel, you can collect data for a longer period of time. So in a macro panel, the information you can get for a longer period. For that reason, macro panel, in macro panel, the time series properties will be dominating. And for that reason, macro panel sometimes called the time series panel or the long panel. So these are the basic difference between micro panel and macro panel. We can also think about two types of panel based on the structure of the data. In that sense, we have two different types of panel. One is called the balanced panel. Another one is called the unbalanced panel. What is balanced panel? Think about the definition of the panel data. In a panel data, you have a specific set of cross-section units. You are collecting data on a specific set of information, and you are repeating the survey for different time periods. Okay, so in a panel data, you have a specific set of cross-section units, specific set of information for several time periods. So if for each time point, you have each cross-section unit and all information from each cross-section unit, then you have a panel data, what is called the balanced panel. So in a balanced panel data, there is no missing information. So all information are available in a balanced panel data. So in a balanced panel, each cross-section unit is observed each and every time point for each and every information. And we don't have any missing value in our data set. So this is a balanced panel. What is unbalanced panel? Suppose for a particular time point, there is no access to conduct some cross-section units. So some information will be missing on that year. So if each entry in the data set are not available for all time points, in that case, you have a data panel, what is called the unbalanced panel. So suppose we have 500 cross-section units for this year. In the next year, suppose you cannot contact all the 500 cross-section units. So one or two or some cross-section units may be missing for the next year. So in that case, you have unbalanced panel because all cross-section units are not there. Similarly, suppose you have the all cross-section units, but it is not possible to collect all information from the all cross-section units. So in that case also the panel data will be unbalanced. So in an unbalanced panel, there are some missing observations. So if you have missing observations in your data, the panel data set will be called the unbalanced panel data. So for theoretical analysis, mostly we consider the form of the balanced panel. So we assume in the background that our data are a balanced panel, and on the basis of that, we move forward for the analytical steps what could be done. Hello. Yes. আচ্ছা আমি একটু পরে ফোন করছি, আমি একটা ক্লাসে আছি। So in a balanced panel, we have all informations. There is no missing value. In the unbalanced panel, some informations are missing. So technically or analytically, we consider in most of the times the balanced panel. Okay. Now, if we understand the basic concept of the balanced panel data as I have discussed till now, it can be easily understandable that collecting panel data is much more costly and difficult as compared to collecting cross-section data as well as the time series data. Because cross-section data is collected through a survey for a particular time point. So you can manage to collect cross-section data or the survey data. Time series data mostly obtained from the official source. So you can collect time series data more easily. But in panel data, you have to repeat the survey with the same set of cross-section units for the same set of information. So obviously, collecting panel data is much more costly as well as more difficult. For that reason, panel data is not easily available as we have a cross-section data or the time series data. But we have some popular set of panel data, but mostly they are related to the developed countries, OECD countries. For example, one prominent panel data sets are called the National Longitudinal Survey of Labor Market Experience. They are related to the United States of America. Another most popularly used panel data sets are called the PSID data, that is Panel Study of Income Dynamics, Michigan Panel Study of Income Dynamics. So these kind of panel data sets are available, but they consider the case of the developing world mostly, because you need a sophisticated statistical system to continue to collect the panel data. And in a country like ours, the transitional less developed countries, underdeveloped countries, you know, statistical system is also underdeveloped. So there are so many constraints we have. So it is not possible to collect panel data in a meaningful manner in a country like ours. So in India, till now, there is no panel data in our official statistics. In our official statistics, we have cross-section data. In our official statistics, we have time series data. But in our official statistics, we don't have any panel data till now. But recently, CSO, Central Statistical Office, particularly industrial wings of the CSO, industrial wings collect information on industrial statistics in the form of annual survey of industries. So annual survey of industries, the name suggests this survey is conducted every year annually, and the survey is conducted by the NSSO. And after conducting the survey by the NSSO, these data are compiled by the CSO. Okay, and annual survey of industries will appear. So in an annual survey of industries, you have several reports for different years at 2-digit, 3-digit, and 4-digit level of industrial classifications in the form of a report, and you can construct a time series with this data. But you cannot construct the panel from the official statistics, annual survey of industries as available in the public domain. But the statistical officers in these wings of CSO have tried to construct a micro panel by taking the annual survey of industries. So in annual survey of industries, the survey is conducted by taking factory unit as a survey unit, as a sample unit. So factory unit is the cross-section unit in the survey. And in our country, it is not possible to consider all factory units or the same set of factory units for each and every year. For that reason, you cannot construct a panel data easily, even if you have a unit level data from annual survey of industries, because there are some identification code that are needed to identify the particular factory unit, and it is not easy for you to identify the factory unit from the classifications provided by CSO as the data available in public domain. But simultaneously, the CSO officials have tried to construct another set of ASI data, unit level data, that are that may be useful to construct a panel. So, but those data are not available in the public domain. Recently, the Ministry of Statistics provide the unit level data freely in their website. So you can collect unit level data at free of cost if you register in their websites, and there are some few steps, and you can easily understand if you go through their websites, and you can collect free of cost the unit level data related to the annual survey of industries. Beforehand, we need to purchase this data, and they are very highly expensive data sets, and it is not possible to purchase this data, particularly for an individual researcher, or even for an individual institution. Some institute purchased those data previously, but today you can get access for this kind of unit level data free of cost if you go through, or if you log into the MOSFI or MOSFI websites. Okay, but what I am trying to say, the panel data, you cannot construct a panel even you can get the unit level data from annual survey of industries. So CSO officials constructed another parallel set of ASI unit level data that could be used for a panel data, and they are not available in public domain. If you want to have this kind of data, you have to purchase it, and of course this data is highly expensive. So you can try to construct a micro panel data by using the unit level data from annual survey of industries. But there are a lot of issues in these kind of unit level data in constructing a panel, and I have a personal experience in constructing panel data or using panel data with unit level ASI, and there are lot of issues, there are lot of problems you have to face to use this kind of panel data properly in your empirical work. So whatever may be, the main point what I am trying to say, till now, the availability of panel data is very much limited, and mostly the available panel data are relating to the developed countries. In a less developed country like ours, still there is a lack of data, but there are some limited source of panel data you can construct. For example, if you are familiar with IHDH data, Human Development Survey. So Human Development Survey, they are also a survey data, and the survey has been conducted roughly during the year relating to employment unemployment survey conducted by the NSSO. So if you use IHDH data, in IHDH data, 70% of the cross-section units are common across the different survey. So by considering this 70% common cross-section units, you can construct a micropanel. So in this way, if you are interested in using a micropanel data, you can construct by using IHDH data as well. So these are the basic concepts of panel data. Now let we move on. The benefits of panel data. Why we are interested in panel data? So obviously, if panel data provide us some more benefits, then we will be interested on panel data, otherwise not. And if you just try to remember the basic definition of panel data. In panel data, we are repeating the survey over time period. So the first point, in a panel data, number of observations is more as compared to the number of observations in cross-section or time series. In our hypothetical example we provide earlier, suppose we are collecting data by taking 500 households consumer expenditure. So in a data set in cross-section, you have information only on 500 households. Suppose we are repeating the survey for 10 years. So we have information, if we consider the time dimension of the data, you have consumption information of a particular household for 10-year periods. So if you have a time series for consumer expenditure, so you have a variation over 10 years only. If you have a cross-section variation on consumer expenditure, if you have variation of consumer expenditure across the 500 households. But if you have a panel data, in a panel data you have 500 information on a particular year, and that information is repeated for 10 years. So by taking 10 years data as a whole, you have 500 into 10, that is, in a panel data, you have total number of information is 5,000. So on the same issue, on the same variable, consumption expenditure, for example, if you have a cross section, you have only 500 data points in our hypothetical example. If you have a time series on consumer expenditure, you have only 10 data points for 10 years. But if you have a panel data on consumer expenditure on the same set of hypothetical example, if you have 5,000 observations on consumer expenditure. So the first benefit in using panel data is that you have more information on the same issue. So for example, we are considering here, suppose you have n number of cross-section units, capital N number of cross-section units in your sample set, and you are repeating the survey for 10 time periods. So if you consider cross-section dimension only, your data varies only across capital N households. If you consider only time dimension, your data or the consumer expenditure will vary over T time periods. But if you have a panel data, if you have total number of observation N into T, so N into T will be sufficiently larger than N or T. So in that sense, in a panel data, we have more number of observations as compared to cross-section data as well as time series data. So if you have more observations, if you have more information, so you can utilize more information to apply any econometric model or any statistical theory. With more information, you will get a more robust results. So if you have a panel data, suppose on a similar issue, you have a panel data, you have a cross-section data, you have a time series data. So all kind of data are available, for example. So if all kind of data are available, in that case, we should prefer panel data than cross-section data or time series data, because in panel data, we have more information. If we have more information, we can estimate a model, we can estimate or we can apply OLS, linear regression model, in a more robust manner. We can get more efficient estimator as we have more number of observations, as we can utilize more number of observations in a panel data. So in that sense, if we have a panel data, we have more observations, and as we have more observations, what kind of gain we can get? One gain we can get in the form of degrees of freedom. What is degrees of freedom? You know, the degrees of freedom is defined as the number of observations you have less the number of parameters to be estimated. So in a regression model, the number of parameters to be estimated is fixed, and in a panel data, the number of observations is N into T. In a cross-section data, the number of observations N. In a time series data, number of observations is T. So suppose in your model, there are K parameters to be estimated. So what will be the degrees of freedom? Degrees of freedom, simply we can define in this way. In the case of a panel data, N into T minus K. In the case of a cross-section data, N minus K. In the case of a time series data, T minus K. So if we compare the degrees of freedom in panel data, in cross-section data, as well as in time series data, so degrees of freedom will be more in the case of a panel data. Okay, and we should prefer more degrees of freedom in any kind of econometric exercise, and that are discussed in detail in semester 1 and at the initial stage of the semester 2, when we recap the models used in cross-section data, simple linear regression model, multiple linear regression model. So what is the degrees of freedom? Why do we need, or why do we prefer more degrees of freedom? So more degrees of freedom provides you more efficient estimates. So in that sense, if we have a panel data, if we have access to panel data, along with cross-section and time series data on the same issue, we should prefer panel data. Suppose we want to estimate consumption function, Keynesian consumption function. So in estimating Keynesian consumption function, we need two variables. One is consumption expenditure, another one is income. Income means national income, consumption means aggregate consumption expenditure. Now suppose you are collecting data on national income or GDP, aggregate consumption expenditure for a set of 100 countries at a particular year. So you have a cross-section data with 100 countries for consumption expenditure as well as GDP. Alternatively, suppose you have GDP and consumption expenditure for a particular country over time, 50 years, 60 years, or 100 years, whatever it may be. So you have a time series data on the same variables, consumption expenditure and GDP. So you can estimate consumption function by applying or by using the cross-section data with consumption expenditure and GDP from 100 countries, or consumption expenditure GDP from a single country over 50 years, or if you have a panel data, we can estimate the same function by using the panel data with number of data points n into t, that is 100 countries into 50 years, that is 5,000 data points you have in estimating a model for consumption function, Keynesian consumption function. So in these three alternative way, if you compare your estimates, you can find that the estimates with the panel data will be more robust, although the basic parameters in a consumption expenditure or the consumption function is the MPC, marginal propensity to consume. The regression coefficient in consumption function provides you marginal propensity to consume. So if you estimate consumption expenditure with 100 data points from 100 countries, you can calculate MPC, you can estimate MPC. If you have 50 data points for a particular country, you can estimate MPC. If you have 5,000 data points from 100 countries over 50 years, you can estimate MPC. So the value of MPC, you know, the value of MPC lies between 0 and 1. It is more than 0 and less than 1 by following the Keynesian theory. So in all cases, you will get the value of MPC less than 1 and greater than 0. But if you consider the another aspects of the estimations, another diagnostics of the econometric estimation, in that case, you can find easily the estimates obtained from the panel data will be more robust as compared to the estimates from the cross-section data or the time series data. So for that reason, if you have a panel data, you can have more robust results. So this is the basic benefit for using panel data. Another important benefits we can get by using panel data is we can control unobserved heterogeneity among the individual cross-section units by using panel data. So this point is very much important as far as the panel data econometrics is concerned. If you have a panel data, we can control for unobserved heterogeneity. Unobserved heterogeneity means, you know, in any kind of data set, in any sample, there are heterogeneity in the information. So heterogeneity is obvious because suppose an example of collecting data on consumer expenditure. You have 500 households. So from 500 households, you can information on 500 number of expenditure figures, and the aggregate consumption expenditure from household 1 will obviously be different from aggregate consumption expenditure from household 2, aggregate consumption expenditure for household 3, etc. In other words, household consumer expenditure will be different across different households. So why consumption expenditure are different? There are so many reasons. Consumption expenditure by a household depends on so many variables that could be observed, as well as so many variables, so many factors that could not be observed. For example, one important factor that can affect consumption expenditure relates to the cultural behavior of the household, relates to the choice pattern of the household, and that could not be observed. And by choice, by the culture, households may be different. Households may be heterogeneous because of their cultural identity. For example, if you collect consumption expenditure data in West Bengal by taking, for example, Jungle Mahal. Jungle Mahal, some households taken from Jungle Mahal and some households taken from North 24 Parganas. So the households living in North 24 Parganas and households living in Jungle Mahals are not the similar, they are heterogeneous. So households are heterogeneous. So obviously their consumption patterns are also heterogeneous. But there are so many dimensions of heterogeneity we don't know. They are not observed. So in our data or in our estimation, we cannot control this kind of unobserved heterogeneity if we have a cross-section data or time series data. But we can control, or we can take into account this kind of unobserved heterogeneity in our estimating model. So when we consider in detail the basic steps in panel data econometrics later on, you can easily understand how we can control for unobserved heterogeneity. As it is unobserved, these informations are not available in our data set, in our sample, and as they are not available in our sample, we cannot use them as a regressor in our estimating model. So in that way, we cannot consider this kind of heterogeneity in estimating a model with cross-section data or even a time series data. But if we have a panel data, in a panel data, there is a more breathing space, because if you compare panel data with cross-section and time series, in a panel data, there are more source of variation. In a panel data, you can move across the cross-section units to vary your information. You can move over time to vary your information. So there are more breathing space as far as the variation of the data, variation of the information is concerned. And by utilizing these dimensions of variation, we can easily consider some information which are not observed at all. So these are the basic advantage in using panel data. So cross-section unit cannot consider the unobserved heterogeneity in your model. The time series data cannot consider the unobserved heterogeneity in your model, but panel data can consider the unobserved heterogeneity in your estimating model. Okay. So in this way, we can capture unobserved heterogeneity in the panel data. So this is the major benefits we can get by using panel data. Another one, and although related, if we have a panel data, it can reduce the endogeneity problem. You know, endogeneity problem is a major problem in most of the econometric model, and you are familiar with the endogeneity problem. Endogeneity problem appears because of the correlation between regressors and the random error we have. So if one or more regressors are correlated with the random error, a typical problem will arise, what is called the endogeneity problem. And it is a serious problem in most of the models we have. And if you have cross-section data, if you have time series data, you cannot eliminate this kind of problem easily. So, but if you have a panel data, you can reduce this kind of endogeneity problem in your model. So these are the basic benefits we can get if we have a panel data as compared to cross-section or time series data. So till now it is okay for you? Will you follow my points? What I am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we can continue. So hopefully 40 minutes over, but luckily our session still remain. So we can continue. So we have considered the basic concept of panel data. We have considered the basic benefits we can get from the panel data. Now let we look at the basic structure of the panel data. How a panel data look like. Okay. So in understanding the structure of a panel data, we have to keep in mind 3 dimensions. One dimension, we need to consider the number of cross-section units, as I have already mentioned, because panel data is constructed by repeating the survey over time. So in a survey, you have a set of cross-section units. So suppose you have capital N number of cross-section units in your sample, and you are repeating the survey for time periods capital T. So you are conducting a survey for period 1, you are conducting a survey for period 2, period 3. In this way, you are repeating your survey for up to for period T, capital T. So capital T is the time dimension, capital N is the cross-section dimension. another dimension we have to keep in mind the number of variables, number of information we want to collect, and in reality we need more number of information. Uh, we cannot collect information, only one information, when we conduct a survey. When we conduct a survey on consumer expenditure, as we are referring earlier, in consumer expenditure survey also, we have to collect consumption expenditure data along with so many other parameters relating to consumption expenditures, affecting consumption expenditure, like household status, household activities, household employment status, household source of income, etc. So many informations we need to collect simultaneously. So one information is represented by one variable. So in reality, you have to collect uh, more variables simultaneously. So suppose we have to collect information on k variables.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes.
স্যার যদি ডেটাটা ম্যাক্রো হয় তাহলে এক্সট্রা কি কি আর মানে নিতে হবে, মানে যদি ম্যাক্রো ডেটা হয় তখন তো নাম্বার অফ ভেরিয়েবলস ওই সেমই থাকবে না,
না
তখন তো কোনো এক্সট্রা ভেরিয়েবলস,
নাম্বার অফ ভেরিয়েবল সব ক্ষেত্রেই সেম থাকবে, সে ম্যাক্রো হোক আর মাইক্রো হোক। ফর এক্সাম্পল
না যেমন
আমি ওই কনজিউমার
আপনি আমার একটা এক্সাম্পল দিন। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওটা তো মাইক্রোর জন্য হচ্ছে না, ম্যাক্রোর একটা এক্সাম্পল।
সিমিলারলি ধরো আমি যেটা বললাম যে কনজিউমার এক্সপেন্ডিচার অর consumption function. Suppose you want to estimate consumption function, aggregate consumption function. So in that case, you need consumption data as well as GDP data. At least you need two types of information. One relating to aggregate consumption expenditure, another one relating to GDP. So in that case, the number of variables will be 2. And in suppose you are trying to estimate LM card. So in LM card, you need think about the basic equations for LM card. So in LM card, there are 2 independent variables. One relates to the income or national income. Another one is for relates to the rate of interest, and third one relates to the money, because you know LM card indicates the money market equilibrium, and in money market equilibrium, supply of money is equal to demand for money. Demand for money has 2 parts: speculative demand for money as well as transactions demand for money. So if you want to estimate LM card, you need at least 3 variables. One relates to the money supply, second relates to the GDP, third relates to the rate of interest. So in that case, the number of variables will be 3. So in any case, whether you have a micro panel or you have a macro panel, in all cases we need more number of variables. Okay, so in understanding the basic structure of a panel data, we have to consider first the dimension of cross section units, the number of cross section units. We need to consider whether it may be households, whether it may be countries or regions or producing farms, whatever may be. So we have to fix the number of cross section units first. Second one, we need the time points. For how many years we want to repeat the survey, or for how many years we want to collect the same information from the same set of cross section units. And third, the number of informations we want to collect. So these 3 issues we have to keep in mind in understanding the basic structure of a panel data. Now let us start with the structure of a panel data by considering these 2 dimensions: cross section dimension and time series dimension. And for time being, suppose we are considering only one variable. So if you have only one variable, so how do we construct a panel data? Okay, so our discussion for time being is restricted to only one variable. So if we have only one variable, how we can arrange the data so that it could be called a panel data. So what we are trying to do now, we are considering to understand the structure of panel data for a single variable. That variable is collected from n cross section units over time period t. So this is the oversimplification. We are considering only one variable. That variable could be collected from n cross-section units over time period capital T. Then we can extend how we can rearrange the panel data for more than one variable. So now let we understand so how panel data looks like for a single variable, where the cross-section units we are considering capital N, time period we are considering capital T. Okay, because we need to understand the basic structure of the panel data. If we want to use panel data for estimating a model, and today's we use the help of a computer programming in estimating any kind of model. We cannot estimate a model manually if you have a larger data set. So in that case, we need help for computer software. So how to feed your data in a software, to understand it, you have to have a clear idea about the basic structure of the data, particularly for the panel data. So let we discuss, or let we demonstrate how a panel data look like for a particular variable that is collected from capital N cross-section units over the time periods capital T. Okay. Now look at this table. This is the data matrix. Is it visible to you? Or can you,
Yes, sir.
reduce its dimension a little bit? Yes. Okay. So we are placing the cross-section units 1, 2, 3 up to capital N. And we placing the time units 1, 2, 3 up to capital T. So initially, let we concentrate on 1 to N cross-section units, 1 to T time units. Okay. So how to get a panel data? Suppose we are in time point 1. Here, we are here, and we have a cross-section unit N. So this is our sample set. So these are the households, and we are collecting consumption expenditure. So X denotes consumption expenditure. Okay. So in time period 1, we conducting a survey for collecting X from consumption from household 1, X from household 2, X from household 3. In this way, X from household N. So in time period 1, we have information that is shown in the first row, only first row. So let we concentrate on first row 1 only. This row. So in this row, we had information from each and every cross-section units, but only at time point 1. So here X11 denotes value of X obtained from cross-section unit 1 in time period 1. X21 denote the value of X obtained from cross-section unit 2 in time point 1. X31 denotes the value of X obtained from cross-section unit 3 in time point 1. In this way, we have Xn1, the value of X obtained from cross-section unit N in time point 1. So in suffix, we have 2 dimensions, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1 in this way. So first one indicates cross-section unit, the second one indicates time period. So in the second one, always you have 1, 1, 1, 1. So the second one indicates the time period 1. The first indicates the cross-section unit 1, cross-section unit 2, cross-section unit 3, cross-section unit N. So in general, panel data is described in this way: XIT. You are familiar with XI for cross-section data, XT for time series data. So for panel data, you can denote with suffix XIT. So this is XIT. I denotes cross-section, T denotes time period. So if we restrict ourselves to a particular row, you have a cross-section data. So if you consider only the information on that row, so you have information on X from household 1, information on X from household 2. In this way, information on X from household N, but at the same time point 1. So when you get different information from different households, but at the same time point, you have a cross-section. So this is the cross-section data obtained from a survey you are conducting with the specific household set N. Now we are repeating the survey for the second time period, if time unit 2. So you get another set of X from here. So second row or row 2 indicates another set of cross-section unit. Another set of cross-section unit, but on the same information X from the same cross-section unit as we are using in time period 1. So in the second row, we have X12, X22, X32, in this way Xn2. So what is X12? X12 is value of X obtained from cross-section unit 1 in time period 2. What is X22? Value of X obtained from cross-section unit 2 in time point 2. In this way, X32, value of X obtained from cross-section unit 3 in time point 2. So everywhere time point 2, time point is the same, but we have different cross-section unit. So the second row, in an isolated way, we can think about it as a cross-section data. Similarly, first row, another cross-section data. Third row, another cross-section data. In this way, we have Tth row. So we have T number of cross-section data. So if these cross-section data come from the same cross-section unit, you have a panel. So in a panel, you have a matrix of the data. This is the data matrix denoted by the blue color on what is called the panel data. So panel data consists of this data matrix where you have T number of rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, in this way, T number of rows for T time periods. You have N number of columns for N number of cross-section units. So number of columns denotes the number of cross-section units. Number of row denotes the number of time points. First row denoting the information at time period 1. Second row denoting the information in time period 2. In this way, Tth row denoting the information in time period T. So how many row you can get? How many row means how many survey data you can? T number of survey data. That is the number of survey data will be equivalent to the number of time points we have. So in this way, number of rows is equal to the number of time points we have in hand. And how many columns you have? Each one, column 1 indicates information from cross-section unit 1. So if you take column 1 only, so how do we interpret column 1? Column 1, X11, X12, X13, X13. So if you look at closely, in everywhere, the first suffix is always 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But the second one differs, 1, 2, 3, up to T. So if we take the column 1, information on column 1 come from household unit 1, but from the different time points. So column 1 provides you the data, what is called the time series. Similarly, column 2, the time series data obtained from cross-section unit 2. Column 3 is the time series data obtained from cross-section unit 3. So each column provides you the time series. So in a panel data, each row indicates a cross-section, each column indicates a time series, and the matrix as a whole indicate the panel. So panel data means we have a data matrix. In a cross-section data, you have a only row. In a time series, you have a only column. So a particular column provides your time series from a particular cross-section unit. If we are interested in analyzing the consumption behavior of household 1 only, so in that case, we should concentrate on column 1, because the consumption expenditure, variation of consumption expenditure over time period will be obtained only when we move over column 1. Similarly, if we want to analyze consumption behavior of cross-section unit 2, household unit 2, in that case, we should concentrate on column 2 only. So a particular column provides you a time series. Okay, a particular row provides a cross section. If we want to analyze consumption behavior in time period 1, so in that case we should concentrate on row 1, and in this row 1 you have different value of consumption expenditure from different households, but not from different time points. So if we want to analyze consumption behavior during a particular time point, we should concentrate on a particular row. That is, we should use in that case the cross-section data. If we interested in analyzing the consumption behavior of a particular unit, but over time, we have a time series. But if we consider the both, if we want to consider the consumption behavior that varies across the cross-section unit as well as over time, in that case, we need to consider the matrix as a whole. So this matrix provides you the data set, what is called the panel data for a single variable X. Is it clear? So in this data, we have how many data points? N into T. In each row, you have N data points. How many rows you have? T number of rows. So how many elements in this matrix? N into T elements in this matrix. So you can vary X in different way across row, over across row, that is, if we consider a particular column, or over a column if we consider a particular row, or by combining the both. So there are more breathing space, as we have mentioned earlier, in a panel data as far as the variation of the data is concerned. So in a panel data, we can have different types of variation. So we can analyze the variation of consumption expenditure, X, if X denotes consumption expenditure. That's why we are mentioning consumption expenditure. So if we want to analyze the variation of consumption expenditure, variation of consumer behavior or consumption behavior, both over time as well as over the cross-section unit households, in that case, panel data will be the appropriate one. So this is the data matrix in a panel. Okay. Now, how we can utilize the panel? Suppose we are considering column 1. So what is column 1? Column 1 provides you the value of consumption expenditure of household unit 1 over different time periods. So this is the variation of X only within the cross-section unit 1. So if we concentrate the variation along a particular column, we have variation of X within the household. So column 1 provides you variation of X within household 1. Column 2 provides you variation of X within household 2. Column 3 provides you variation of X within household 3. So in this way, if we consider variation along a particular column, we get variation within a particular group or within a particular entity. In panel data terminology, we can call it entity. So we can get variation within a particular entity if we move along a particular column. Similarly, if we move along a particular row, if we have a variation across the unit, that is variation of X across household 1, household 2, household 3, household N. So if we consider the variation across a row, we have a variation between the entities. So how consumption expenditure varies across row? The consumption expenditure varies across row means the consumption expenditure varies between entities, between the households. So how consumption expenditure varies between households is reflected by the variation across a row. So variation across row provides you the variation between group or between the entity. Variation across a column provides you variation within group or within entity or within a cross-section unit. And if we consider the variation both across row over column, we get a total variation or overall variation. That is the variation by considering the both dimensions, cross-section dimensions as well as time series dimensions. Now, suppose we are concentrating column 1 first. So in column 1, we have a variation of x1 in time period 1, x1 in time period 2, x1 in time period 2, x1 in time period t. So always we have x1. So different x1 in different time points. And this different x1 is reflected the difference in consumption expenditure of the household unit 1. Okay. So if we want to summarize the consumption expenditure of household unit 1, so one way is to consider the average or the take arithmetic mean of x of household unit 1. That is, consider the value of mean of x just by allowing the x along a particular column. X varies this, and this. So if we take this column only, we can calculate x bar, and in this x bar we are allowing to change x only over time, not across the cross section unit. So this x bar indicates the average or mean consumption expenditure of household unit 1 by taking all time periods. Similarly, this arithmetic mean for the second column provides the mean value of the consumption expenditure for household unit 2 by considering all time points. In this way, we can calculate mean value for each and every column to get the mean consumption expenditure for each and every cross-section unit. So in this way, we can construct another row x bar I dot. Please keep in mind the suffix I dot. I dot means in this mean value, we allow to change I, that is, we allow to change the cross-section unit 1, 2, 3 up to n. So we had different type of x bar 1, x bar 2, x bar 3, x bar n. So how many x bar we can calculate? The number of, that depends on the number of cross-section unit. So this is the x bar for cross-section unit 1, x bar for cross-section unit 2, x bar for cross-section unit 3, x bar for cross-section unit n. So in general, we can say x bar I, the arithmetic mean of x for cross-section unit I, where we are utilizing the variation over time. So there will be no variation here over time. We are capturing all time points by taking the sum of this, and this to get x bar 1 dot. So dot means the overtime variation will be eliminated at this mean value. Similarly, overtime variation is eliminated in this value. In this way, overtime variation is eliminated in this kind of arithmetic mean. So we can calculate arithmetic mean, or we can calculate mean value of x by considering the variation over time only. So in this case, we can get different x bar for different cross-section units, x bar 1, x bar 2, x bar 3, x bar n. So by taking sum along a particular column, we get mean value. So in getting this mean value, what we are doing, we are allowing to change only within that cross-section unit. So this arithmetic mean is obtained by considering the within group change only. Okay, Similarly, this arithmetic mean is obtained by considering within group change, with the change within the group 2, or the change of x within the cross-section unit 2 only, or by considering the change within the entity 2 only. So this kind of arithmetic mean is called within group arithmetic mean. X bar 1, arithmetic mean of x within group 1. X bar 2, arithmetic mean of x within group 2. X bar 3, arithmetic mean of x within group 3. In this way, x bar I dot indicates arithmetic mean of x of within group I, because in all cases we are utilizing only the within group variation, not between group variation. We are considering one kind of variation in calculating this kind of arithmetic mean. Similarly, if we consider the variation across a row, if we consider this row, earlier we are considering this column, now consider the first row. In this first row, you get similarly another kind of mean value of x. So in calculating this mean value, we are allowing to change x across the entity. So here, what we are doing, we are considering the change between groups. So here you are getting value of x bar in time period 1. So we are eliminating the change across the cross-section unit, because in calculating x bar here, we are considering all cross-section units together by taking the sum of them to get it. Okay. Similarly, for the second row, for the third row, so the mean value in each row, you will get the mean value in each time point. So x bar dot 1 indicates the mean value of x in time point 1 by considering variation of all cross-section units. X bar 2 indicates the mean value of x in time period 2 by considering the variation of all cross-section units. Similarly, x bar 3 indicates the mean value of x in time point 3 by considering the variation of all cross-section units n. So in this way, we can get another kind of mean value. So this one kind of mean value, this is another kind of mean value. So in calculating this mean value, we are utilizing variation across the individual cross-section units, and we will get mean value at different time points. So x bar dot 1, x bar dot 2, etc. That's why we can indicate it x bar dot t. Dot t means we are eliminating the variation across I. We are considering all variations across I to get this x bar. That's why there is no variation now here in I, only variation here in t, because x bar changes over time. X bar 1, x bar 2, x bar 3, x bar t, etc. So why we are using the symbol dot t I dot? Simply because to differentiate between this kind of mean and this kind of mean. If we are not using the symbol in this way, suppose we denote x bar 1 here, also x bar 1 here. So these two x bar 1 looks like similar, but they are actually different. They are not similar. So to make them dissimilar, we use the symbols in this way: x bar I dot, x bar dot t. So x bar I dot indicates mean value for different cross-section units. X bar dot t indicates mean value for different time points. Okay. Now, if we consider the variation for both, you will get another kind of mean, that is x bar. So in x bar, there is no suffix. That is, here in calculating x bar, we are considering the variation of both across the cross-section unit as well as over time period. That's why there is no variation I or t here. So this is called another kind of mean, and this mean value is called overall mean value. And this kind of mean value is called within group mean value. These are the between group mean value, and this is the overall mean value. And how to calculate this kind of mean value? We can summarize this in this way. So if we have a panel data, you can calculate 3 types of mean value. One is called the within group mean value. We have already illustrate in terms of this data matrix. X bar I dot is obtained by taking sum of xit, sum over time. We are considering sum along a particular column. Along a particular column means the value of x changing over time. So by considering the value of x over time, so as we are considering change of x over time, so we have to divide by t. So you have t number of x, so you have to divide t to get x bar I dot. Similarly, between group mean, x bar dot t. So in that case, we are taking sum across a row. So in a row, we have n, capital N data points. So you have how many xit? Capital N xit. So you have to divide by n to get x bar dot t. So in this way, you can get between group mean. And if we consider both type variation across I over time, so you have xit, x varies either I over t. And if you consider all kind of variation, so how many data points you have? N into t number of data points. So if you divide the total sum by n into t, you will get x bar. This is called overall mean. So if you have a panel data, you have different types of mean value. If you have a cross-section data, you have only one kind of mean value. If you have a time series data, you have only one kind of mean value. But if you have a panel data, you have three types of mean value. One is within group mean value. Second one is between group mean value. Third one is overall mean value. And we can exploit these three types of mean values in considering three different types of variations as presence in a panel data. So we can utilize different types of variations in a panel data in estimating a model to get more robust result, to get our estimating analysis in a more robust way. So in this way, we can utilize the panel data in our model. So let us stop for today. So we are discussing till now the basic concepts of panel data, the main advantages of panel data, and the basic structure of panel data for a single variable. Okay. Next day, we extend our discussion how we can calculate different types of variation by using panel data and by utilizing these three kind of mean value. And we enter into the basic panel data econometric model in the next class. So we stop today, and hopefully you understand the point. So if you have any questions regarding today's discussions, you can ask me and I shall try to clarify. So if you have any questions before ending this session, you can ask. Any questions?
Sir, next class kabe?
Next class will be on Friday. Friday at the same time, 11:30.
Okay.
Friday means next Friday means today is 11. So next Friday, let me look at. So Friday means 15, May 15th. So next class will be on May 15th at the same time, 11:30. Okay, বোঝা গেল প্যানেল ডেটা ব্যাপারটা? বুঝতে পেরেছো?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ধীরে ধীরে পড়বে। হ্যাঁ, যদি কোনো অসুবিধা হয়, কোনো পয়েন্ট, আশা করি অসুবিধা হবে না। আমি চেষ্টা করেছি যতটা লুসিডলি বলার, এর থেকে লুসিডলি বলা যায় না। বই দেখলে দেখবে আরো অনেক জটিল ব্যাপার স্যাপার, বই দেখলে ঘাবড়ে যাবে। তো আগে এই জিনিস
Sir, last দিনের হ্যান্ডআউটটা দেবেন, আগের দিন যেটা পড়ালেন।
দিয়ে দেবো, পাঠিয়ে দেবো।
আচ্ছা,
ঠিক আছে, তাহলে থাক আজকে। তোমরা ভালো থেকো।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.